Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? I believe I'm audible enough. And welcome all colleagues. Allow me to say colleagues because everyone here, I believe, are members of the health sector, health professionals, pharmacy professionals. Wherever you are, receive my good greetings. Your host today, this is Dr. Ermias Tarafa. I'm a pharmacist, pharmacologist, and also I'm an assistant professor of pharmacology and therapeutics. Also, I serve as a co-founder and a lead trainer at Axumia Global Learning Solution at AGLS. As we start this session, maybe you can use the chat to say hi to everyone and also to tell us from where you are following this session. Maybe you can indicate that one. Before I hand over the session to our today's moderator and speaker, just I'll take you briefly for like less than 2 minutes on what we are doing at AGLS so that you will know a little bit about your host today. AGLS is an accredited CPD provider company, a consultancy company basically, and we've been providing and doing a number of professional developer trainings for health professionals. Uh, all our trainings are accredited by the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, and also a number of our programs are also accredited by the International Pharmaceutical Federation, that is FIP. You can go through our website, and later on at the end of the presentation by our speaker, I will try to give a highlight of some of the very interesting trainings which we have and what really makes our trainings unique. And I believe most of you have undergone our trainings and you know the rigor of the trainings. We are not just to provide CPD point. We really believe in structured learning and structured professional development. As you go and navigate through our website, you can take time also to see the team of our trainers, which are highly experienced, seriously vetted, with a minimum of masters, PhDs, and most senior consultants who lead most of our training sessions. I'll stop on that one as I'll take time, few minutes later on to really take you through what our trainings, what we are really doing when it comes to professional development. It's also a testament that our moderator, Dr. Kubai, is among our alumni who finished the first, if I'm not wrong, or the second cohort of the health supply chain management training series, which was a 10 weeks training. And we believe soon now she'll be among the consultants who'll be leading the health supply chain management training. Also, our speaker, Agnes, is among the facilitators we have for the health supply chain management training. I've worked in different avenues with Agnes. At this point, I will hand over the session to Dr. Kubai to moderate the session. But at the end, we'll take a few minutes to share with you what we are providing. And also we'll give a guidance on how you can subscribe to this webinar and how we'll be sharing your CPD tokens. Thank you very much. I hand over the session to you, Dr. Kubai, at this moment.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof, for the good work you're doing at Axomia. And yes, indeed, I am. Let me start my video so that at least I can be able to, I hope you can see me. Yeah, so I am indeed among the alumni of the health supply chain management training. I was in the second cohort. So we are going to start off today's session by, first of all, I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome all participants to this meeting so that we are all excited to be here and we are all excited to learn. And we're going to just, as the best of all, also get to learn about transformational leadership from Dr. Agnes. And therefore, I'm going to also inform the participants that Axomia Global Learning Solutions, that is AGLS, is currently providing a wide variety of professional development trainings. For example, health supply chain management, of which I am a beneficiary of that particular course. There's also global regulatory affairs. There's vaccinology, of which I know colleagues who've also taken up that course. There's pain management. I have been part of pain management webinars as a participant, and they were thoroughly educative. And there's also diabetes and hypertension management, among other courses. So I would encourage each and every one of us to take up one course among the many that are offered, depending on their area of interest. So I'm also going to let you know that we also have a course for oncology and radiopharmaceuticals that is scheduled to start from the 19th of May, and it runs for 10 weeks. And this will be taking place every Monday and Wednesday from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. That is a similar time as this one. And then there is also the veterinary training, which is held once a week, that is going to be kicking off very soon. That is on the 31st of May. And this is a training that is going to run for 6 weeks, and it's going to be held every Saturday for 2 hours from 9 a.m. from 9 to 11 p.m. But I'm assuming that is a.m. Yeah, from 9 to 11 a.m. If the timing is wrong, we're going to correct in the posters. And then I would also encourage everyone to join our WhatsApp channel and social media pages for updates on the courses that are coming up that could be of your interest and definitely beneficial to your career. The other thing I would like to inform us as we're going to start before we welcome our speaker is for every participant to subscribe to this webinar on the PPB portal, that is the Pharmacy and Poison Board portal. And the CPD tokens will be shared within a week's time. As you heard from Prof, that the AGLS is accredited to give to issue CPD points, and therefore, please don't miss out on these points. Make sure you subscribe to ease the issuing out of the points to ensure that you get your points on time. Please ensure that you remain muted throughout the session so that we are able to all benefit from a quiet and organized session, and to allow our speaker, Dr. Agnes, to be able to deliver to the best without any interruptions. And also, if you have any question, please feel free to write it in the chat. I'm going to keep track of the questions. And at the end of Dr. Agnes's presentation, we're going to run through them and give her an opportunity to respond to each and every one of the questions. So keep your questions coming. I'm going to note them down, and we are going to pass them on to our speaker for the day. And finally, now we're going, without further ado, we're going to introduce our speaker, who is Dr. Agnes Maina, who is ready to take up this presentation. And we need to understand that Dr. Agnes Maina is a healthcare operations specialist and a healthcare professional with over 20 years of experience in the healthcare sector in Kenya. She's currently the head of operations for Twinkle Pharmacy and Laboratory Services Limited, an outpatient center located on the ground floor of 46. And this is an award-winning healthcare outfit that she has been instrumental in setting up and managing since the year 2016. Dr. Agnes is also a part-time lecturer at the University of Nairobi in the Faculty of Business and Management Sciences, and she has a great passion for operations research. Her professional experience spans across both private and public sectors, and she has worked partly for outfits like the Aga Khan University Hospital and the University of Nairobi CRISS and CRISS Plus projects responding to the HIV epidemic in Kenya. And while she was in that in the Aga Khan University and the University of Nairobi projects, she was the supply chain lead for both projects. So she's actually someone, if you have an interest in supply chain, she's someone to look up to, as she has great experience in that sector. So I'm now going to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Agnes Maina to take over and give us the speaker for the day, Dr. Agnes, to take over and take us through the presentation for the day. And therefore, if Dr. Agnes, you can hear me, kindly proceed now, and we are ready to listen to you. Thank you so much. Oh, Dr. Please unmute yourself. I can see you're still muted, so we can't hear you.
You can unmute
Great.
now, Agnes. Yeah.
Yes, thanks, Prof. Good evening, everyone. Such a great pleasure. Thank you for awarding me the DR title. Not yet, just a bit more, working on my my final project, my PhD project, and then it will be awarded soon. Prof, it's a great pleasure to be here. We just wound up on the supply chain training, and it was a great experience. I want to share my slides because today we want to take a tangent. As you've heard, I'm an operations specialist, and this is my pet subject. So when Prof asked me to do the presentation, I gladly took it up because I believe this is one of the core areas that we need to start taking keen interest in as healthcare professionals. And I'll tell you why as I go along the presentation. So that's me. And as you've heard, part of what I do is deal with healthcare operations. And apart from what Dr. Kubai had mentioned, I also am greatly involved in other roles, including, sorry, just give me a minute to settle. Okay. Other roles that I take on are philanthropy, empowerment projects, and advisory roles, where we sit in some of the advisory committees with Prof. And I am passionate about transformational leadership. I'm an author of a book titled Fearless Leadership, which I will allude to later in the session. And I help to inspire unstoppable confidence and impact. So moving right on, the objectives of this session, by the end of this session, we should be able to differentiate between different leadership styles with an emphasis on transformational leadership. Identify and apply the 4 core components of transformational leadership, demonstrate skills in motivating and guiding teams towards a shared vision, evaluate our personal leadership style, and identify areas of growth. As I say that, when the call went out, we indicated that it's going to be quite an interactive session. So please do stay plugged in. If you can't hear me, maybe Dr. Kubai, you could just raise your hand so that I know there's something wrong, but I'm hoping my network will be good throughout. So it's going to be interactive. You will need to participate in some of the questions. As Dr. Kubai had said, please do put in your questions on the chat and also give your responses when called upon so that we can interact tonight. I know we are quite a number, headed to about 400, which is a great participation. And I'm hoping that we can be able to get as much information from one another because there's no end to learning. We are also going to apply emotional intelligence and communication techniques in leadership practice. We'll see a practical example on how we can do that. And then we will try and design strategies for leading institutional change and innovation. So what is leadership? What is this animal called leadership? So leadership is the ability to influence, inspire, and guide individuals or groups towards achieving a common goal or vision. So leadership happens when there's a common goal or a shared vision. So you're coming together with certain individuals and at one point in time, I like to storytell. So one time we had gone for a team building exercise, and one of the competitions that we're doing was we were told to move some balloons from point A to point B. And we tried doing it, everyone trying their own method to do it, until the only time we succeeded is when we appointed a team lead to help us move the balloons, because it was chaotic. And that is what leadership is all about. It is about coming together, but also that ability to influence, inspire, and guide individuals in order to achieve a common vision or goal. Sorry, it's not just about authority or position. And this is important, such that when we go out as in charges of our facilities, we are not going to step on the people who are under us. We are going to work together. We are going to demonstrate, and that's where we are going to go into transformational leadership, what it is to walk the journey, walk the talk. True leadership is about impact, responsibility, and the ability to bring out the best in others. I always like to quote this quote, which I don't know who quoted it, who said it, but it says that the student must always be better than the teacher. I live by that principle. I believe everyone who comes into my space should become better than who I am. Why? Because I'm willing to transfer what my knowledge, my skills, whatever I've encountered in the over 20 years I've been in the profession, so that somebody can be better. And I'm hoping that at the end of this session, we will stop seeing this thing that we call baptism by fire in the healthcare professional, in the healthcare space, and start to see more people willing to take on and become leaders in their own right, who are able to bring out the best in others, who are able to mentor others and lead them into greater heights and achievements in a shorter span of time. They say that experience is the best teacher. I tend not to agree with that statement fully. And the reason being, sometimes your experience might lead you to death. Yeah, you might die in that experiential moment. The best teacher, I believe, is wisdom gleaned from people who've gone through whatever you are going through, taking their pain points, learning from them, and then avoiding the same situations. Now, that becomes the best teacher. All right, so the evolution of leadership, I tried to not bore you with a lot of management theories and try to summarize, because leadership started all the way in the 1800s, around the 1840s, and it has transitioned over the years, over the centuries. And I'm giving a high level summary, and I believe all of us have the capability to, just go and search out more about the evolution of leadership, but it is quite interesting. It started with the traits, saying with proponents saying that people are born, not made, as leaders. Okay, so those traits that you could see a leader from traits that they had that they are born with, and then it moved on to behavior and then to situation. So from fixed traits to adaptable behaviors and context-driven strategies. Okay, so there's been quite a change. And then leadership has also evolved from hierarchical leadership into collaboration. In fact, in this dispensation, if you're pushing top-down authority as your leadership strategy, then you're most likely going to fail. So we have evolved. And now more than ever with the current generation, the Gen Z generation, you have to be able to work with them the way they are. And so it will behove us to be able to collaborate and not try to push down things, because they have their own way of thinking, their own way of working. Some of them cannot do an 8 to 5 like, the millennials and the Gen X and whoever else is on this call who's not a Gen Z. We were the generations that did the 8 to 5. The Gen Zs cannot be able to hack at an 8 to 5, most of them. But they're able to work on their own space. You'll find some of them very productive at weird hours, like the 2 a.m.s, and they're more of creatives. And they want to be able to be given that space to work off, our normal setup. So we'll have to work collaboratively with them, because they are the next frontier of healthcare workers that we are going to have. And if we are not able to train them or help them see a different model from what they want to be able to do, or help them integrate into the healthcare space, then we're going to have a gap, and nature abhors a vacuum. Then there's also been an evolution from tasks to people to purpose. Okay, growing emphasis on ethics and vision and follower empowerment. And so we are having an increased buzz in the area of ethics, ethical dispensing, ethical practice, and more than ever before, we are seeing a growing population of people who are literate and learned. And so there's an increase definitely of litigation aspects. And so we must be able to work in with our ethics being our A game. And so that there's been a movement, okay, into ethics and vision, having a roadmap in which we are able to lead others into having a strategy that we are putting in place and a common goal that we are trying to achieve. And then also empowering the people who are around us so that we can move towards that common goal. There's also a shift from stability into adaptability. And this is really a call to responding to the aspects of globalization and the ever-changing trends in the global space. For example, COVID-19, or very recently, the stop work order, the shift with the US aid funding, and how we are able to adapt into that new space that we've been thrown into, maybe while we are not yet ready for it, but it will call for leaders to come out in the healthcare space to be able to help us as a citizenry to navigate the challenges that are erupting or just about to erupt with such change in the global space. There's also digital disruption. How are we going to be able to integrate the digital, the AI, the artificial intelligence into the healthcare space? Is it going to kick us out as human beings? Are we going to be able to have robots that totally take on our jobs, or will there still be a space for human beings to work in the healthcare space? And then the aspect of crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic, excuse me, the global pandemic, and we saw something we've never experienced, the lockdowns, the increase of prices of commodities, etc., etc. And we needed leadership in that moment. And I'm sure all of us can remember the former CS of Health, Mutahi Kagwe, and how he took on that challenging space to help the country navigate in that space. That now is leadership. So leadership is not a static thing. It is iterative. It keeps on shifting. It keeps on changing. So key elements of leadership: there must be vision, saying what's possible and charting a clear path forward. And vision sometimes even behoves us to go into what is now being called the blue ocean strategy, charting new paths for ourselves. Being able to see the gap, that now is vision, being able to see ahead, what is coming next. I like to refer to Rwanda and how Rwanda has been able to use drones to supply healthcare blood products actually to the remotest areas of their country. And I'm wondering, when are we going to have Kenya do something, shifting that shifts the space for the African region when it comes to the use of AI like the drones? Maybe you can chat in. Maybe I'm not yet aware of what we've been able to do, but I saw Kenyatta did recently KNH a groundbreaking surgery, I think last week or sometime. I just saw that in passing. But vision is that ability to see what's coming, and being able to chart a clear path forward. Then there's the aspect of influence, gaining commitment and buy-in, and not just compliance. You don't want to work with human beings like you work with robots. Robots, you give a command and the robot moves on and does it, okay? But with human beings, you want to get buy-in, to tag them along into, or let them understand what your vision is. You're able to influence them to the point that they enter your bandwagon and are able to walk with you the journey. And then there's communication, listening actively and conveying ideas clearly. And one of the things that we need to start understanding, even as we're working in the healthcare space, is the importance of closing that communication loop. That ability that when somebody gives an instruction, are we able to close that loop? Okay, or is it a one-way kind of instruction? Because most of the communication in healthcare needs us to come back and say, or even do the handover notes. For example, if you're changing shifts, it's so important for us to be able to do that communication clearly. And actively listening, etc., etc. Then there's the aspect of decision making choices that align with values and objectives. We have to be able, as leaders, to make choices which align with the values, the core objectives of the company. Excuse me. The core values of the organization that we are working with. And so the choices that we are making have to be strategic choices as leaders, so that we are not having divergent visions, which people keep on saying that when you have divergent visions, then you'll have division. You need people who are walking in the same direction. And so being able to align those the choices that we make with the values and the objectives that are clearly spelled out for the particular facility organization that we are working with. Adaptability, navigating change and uncertainty with confidence. That ability to be malleable, to be able to shift, to be flexible. We are not rigid, but we're able to shift, pricing. We're able to shift the way we deliver services. We're able to shift the timing that we deliver services depending on the need of the people or the community around us. And those are some of the elements, the key elements of leadership. Empowerment, encouraging growth, autonomy, and development in others. In fact, this is a good space, what Prof is doing. It gives us the ability to grow in different dimensions, because truth be told, it's not just the clinical aspects that we need to grow into. We also need other social aspects, because we are social beings, and the people that we are taking care of are also social beings. And so we need to be have a 360-degree growth space. And I'm so glad for what Aksumia is doing, providing for us that space. So I'll move on to the styles of leadership. And today I just want to focus on 4. There are about 8 different leadership styles, but I just want to focus on this and then just narrow into the transformational leadership, which is our core subject of discussion tonight. So the 4 different styles of leadership: the transformational, the transactional, servant leadership, and autocratic. And I'll describe them, and then I'll give you a quiz where I will expect you to match these different leadership styles with different characters that I will put on the next screen, on the next slide. So for transformational leadership, the core focus of this leadership style is vision, change, and empowerment. So you're focused on vision, you're focusing on creating change, you're focusing on empowering the people who are around you. And the key characteristic is to inspire others, to develop people, and encourage innovation. This transformational leadership style doesn't make you like the person who's always the know-it-all. It allows space for other people to come and give you their ideas so that they can be incorporated in the strategy of the company or the facility growth. And it's best used when you're leading change, when there's complex problem-solving issues, and for team development. And the risks, it may overlook details or short-term tasks. Okay, then there's the transactional leadership, whereby here we are looking at performance, and this the best kind of of practice here is like the med reps, okay, where they have targets, and you're rewarded, possibly with a bonus when you meet the targets of what you've been asked to do. So this transactional leadership, the core focus is structure, its performance, and compliance. Okay, so its key characteristics are it's task focused. It uses rewards or punishment. It sets clear expectation. So sometimes you might find that you did something, an error in one facility, and you're transferred to the hardship area as a punishment. Now that is transactional leadership style. And then it's best used when there are routine operations, meeting short-term goals, and then can limit creativity and engagement. Absolutely. Then we have the servant leadership, and this really talks about people first. Okay, you're going out of your way to ensure that the people are comfortable. All right. So you take care of the well-being of the team. You're concerned. That is servant leadership. And there's a lot of empathy that comes about with servant leadership. Listening. There's an aspect of community building and support growth. And this is also key when we're talking, when you're doing your community outreaches. Okay, there has to be that empathy, the listening, the caring, the going out of the way. You're building a community around your facility. Then you need to employ this leadership style. There's team building and ethical leadership, value-driven work, and may delay decisions and risk being perceived as passive. Okay, then finally, there's the autocratic leadership style, where here we see a lot of authority, control, and efficiency. This is where you have fast decisions being made, top-down decisions being made. And it's good when there are crises. Like during the COVID times, we had to have so many decisions made, at a short span of time. There's minimal input, absolutely minimum input, but there's fast action. Crisis situations is when it's best used. Time-sensitive decisions, matters of life and death, you just have microseconds to make that decision. Whether or not, you're in that catch-22, this is the kind of leadership style that needs to be employed. It can damage morale if people don't understand why you opted for that type of leadership style. And it can stifle innovation. So as I promised, I'm going to put in four characters. Bezos is one of the first ones, and his favorite common quote is, "What's dangerous is not to evolve." That's number one. Tag that as your number one. Number two, Steve Jobs. His famous quote, "Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected." Number three, Mother Teresa. "Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love." And number four, Nelson Mandela. "It always seems impossible until it's done." So this is what I want you to do. Which personality best describes the leadership styles from what I've defined in the previous style? Who best describes transformational leadership, which is A? So I want you to put in the chat, maybe number one is C. I don't know. You tell me. Okay, so just put number one dash C if that's your choice. Who best describes transactional leadership? Who best describes servant leadership? And who best describes autocratic leadership? Dr. Kubai, if you're there, you can help me read some of the comments that are coming in onto the chat. Let's see if the team understood the different leadership styles.
Okay. Yes, Agnes, I'm here. I was waiting to unmute, but yeah, I can see we have Hannah Wanjiko saying that number one is A, that is transformational leadership. We also have Martha Kamau saying that the number three, that is Mother Teresa, is displaying servant leadership. And then we also have Purity Mwangi saying one is A, that is transformational. Is that Jeff Bezos? You are not wrong. And then we have Collins Ochieng saying number two, that is Steve Jobs is displaying servant leadership. December says number two, that is again Steve Jobs displaying autocratic leadership. Eunice has attempted all of them in saying Bezos is showing transformational leadership, Steve Jobs autocratic, Mother Teresa servant leadership, and transactional leadership, Nelson Mandela. Agnes, you'll be you give us the points here or the marks. You'll tell us who is right and who is wrong. We have Josephat saying that Bezos is showing transformational leadership. Purity Mwangi says Steve Jobs is showing transactional leadership. Then we have Hannah and Moses saying Mother Teresa is showing servant leadership. I think that is the most popular. Let us see. We have many people agreeing that Mother Teresa is showing showing servant leadership. Then let's see who is going against that. Many people are saying that Nelson Mandela shows autocratic leadership. So, yeah, that seems to be most of the responses, but they are as varied as they come. So, we have many people who are looking at them differently depending on the context in which they are putting the quotes. So you can, Agnes, you can tell us what you think of our responses. Yes. Oh, and please unmute yourself. I can see you're muted again, Agnes. Yeah. Prof, please unmute Agnes. I can see she's speaking, but we can't hear her. She looks like her mute button is
Yes.
on. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I couldn't unmute myself. So thank you for those varied responses. Let me ask you a question. What did Nelson Mandela do? Let's start with Nelson Mandela. I thought it would be the easiest. Okay, just as easy as Mother Teresa. But he was able to bring South Africa post-apartheid to unite. Okay. And so for that, he's credited as a transformational leader. Remember that, okay, the apartheid story was nothing to write home about, but he was able to bring back the unity of that nation post all those atrocities that were done, okay? Then I like to start with the easiest, okay? Of course, Mother Teresa, she's the epitome of servanthood leadership. And then now the two big wigs, Bezos and Mr. Apple. So Bezos is credited to be a transactional leader because he leads with it's a carrot or the stick. Okay, that's the kind of leadership he employs, styling employs. If you do well, you're given advantages. You're rewarded for it. But if you do wrong, again, there's the stick that comes on. And then definitely now that I've said that, Steve Jobs is autocratic. He is very fast-paced. I believe it's also because of the kind of industry he works in, the tech industry, and you have to change the new design before Samsung does, stuff like that. And so the leadership he's credited to employ is autocratic. So well done, guys. At least I can tell people who are listening, thank you for all those varied responses. All right, so moving on. Transformational leadership, that's where we want to anchor tonight's conversation, is a leadership style where the leader works with teams or individuals to identify needed change, to create a vision, to guide the change, and then execute the change in tandem with committed members. It's about inspiring and empowering people to exceed expectation and develop their own leadership potential. So they're always pushing you to exceed the expectation. Yes, you've done this, but you can do better. Yes, we've been able to get to customer satisfaction. Can we get to customer delight? Okay, so they're always inspiring you to the next level or the next dimension. This approach is particularly effective in complex healthcare sectors like healthcare, where professionals often seek more than just transactional direction. They thrive under leadership that connects purpose with performance. Okay, so as a healthcare worker, of course, we all desire that we have positive outcomes for our clients. And so that's the purpose. And when our performance is tied to a deeply rooted purpose like that, then the best leadership style to employ is normally transformational leadership. So some of the key characteristics of transformational leadership, again, visionary thinking, they set compelling forward-looking vision. So you don't want a leader who is just there, because the only thing that's constant is change. So you have to keep on reinventing yourself, looking forward. What's the next thing? Yes, we've been able to do X, can we go for Y now? Inspiration, they motivate others by appealing to values and higher ideals. Individual consideration, they mentor and develop people individually, and so they have both the whole team perspective, and yet they know you as an individual, down to be able to know what area are you struggling in your professional life. How can I work with you in that way? And that's the essence of performance management, whereby you sit with the person who's in charge and you come up with a plan of, I was not able to accomplish XYZ targets. And I believe if I could be capacity built in these areas, then I'll be able to accomplish those targets moving forward. Innovation encouragement, they challenge the status quo and support creativity. So they want to hear your views. They want you to have an input, a say. And by the way, when you get your team to have an input, it's easier when it comes to shifting or changing into a new thing. Okay, and they are high in integrity and ethics. They have this as one of the core principles that they operate under. They lead by example and build trust. So moving to the 4 I's of transformational leadership, these 4 I's, if you don't remember anything from today, well, apart from the pictures of Mother Teresa and Bezos, I want you to take home this slide, the 4 I's of transformational leadership. And the first I is idealized influence. Leaders act as role models, earning respect and trust. They're with you there as you're doing the ward round. They're with you on your first surgery. It's not baptism by fire. Okay, they know your pain points because they've walked the walk. Okay, so it's easier for them to understand how to operate, in your space. For example, some time back, I had an incident that happened, and I was talking to someone, and they were shifting their shifts. And they chose a shift which, because I've worked, I think, across all the shifts, I don't think there's any shift I've not done. Oh yeah, the 36-hour one I've not done. Is it 36 or 72 hours? That long one I've not done, because I transitioned out of the hospital space before that happened. But I could understand from my experience that what he was asking for, it was not going to be possible, okay, if you are to balance work life. And so I told the person, I think you're going to regret this proposal, but yes, if you want, you try it. He did not last a week, came back and told me not working. And, I could understand because I've worked in all those spaces, okay? Then there's inspirational motivation. Leaders articulate a vision that is inspiring and meaningful. No one just wants to be there without knowing what is all this about, okay? So there's both the aspect of motivation and inspiration. There's the aspect of it being meaningful at the end of the day. There's intellectual stimulation, critical thinking, and problem solving, which are skills that are so highly marketable now. That ability to think on your feet, that ability to see a crisis about to happen and you salvaging it helps you to move into transformational leadership. That ability to solve problems, because problems erupt in the most mundane situations. It was a normal, ordinary day, like the day when the bomb blast went off. It was just an ordinary day. And suddenly there's a blast, and that changes the whole trajectory of what Kenyatta National Hospital looked like. And, everyone was just going on their normal, ordinary way. Life, doing what you're doing, the normal daily things you're doing. And then suddenly you're seeing ambulances after ambulances coming with casualties and, also apparently anyone who had home science knowledge was being asked to assist, to help stitch, because it was overwhelming. So that ability to encourage critical thinking and problem solving, individualized consideration, to attend to each follower's needs and helps them to grow. So you understand what the individual needs are, and you help them to structure out a growth path in both their career, the next level of expertise, etc. So again, this is a scenario, and we want to pick out the 4 eyes. So again, drop on the chat as I read through. Tell me which eye was indicated as I read through, okay? So Dr. Ali Tahima, a new facility in charge at Mihato Clinic, a struggling rural health clinic, opted to apply the 4 eyes of transformational leadership to drive change. She modeled integrity and vision by deciding to work alongside staff and share the facility's the facility's clear goal: improved maternal care. Through storytelling and future-focused team meetings, she instilled hope and urgency. Furthermore, Dr. Ali Tahima encouraged nurses to redesign workflows and test new triage ideas while offering one-on-one mentorship to junior staff. Do you remember the 4 eyes is the question. Okay, so within 6 months, patients' satisfaction rose, staff morale improved, and maternal complications dropped by 30%. Transformational leadership ignited real progress. So can you see the 4 eyes and how they've been applied? Drop me a yes if you can. Drop me a yes on the chat. Let me just see that. I hope the yeses are coming. Are there any yeses? Anyone seeing the 4 eyes? All right, okay. Oh, great. So at least the audience is quite engaged. That's good. That's good to know. All right. So of course, we said there are a couple of things that we need to do. You have to model. You have to be a model. You have to walk the talk, all right? And then you use tools like storytelling and future-focused team meetings to instill hope and urgency. And then you allow innovation to come in, okay? You allow your team members to give you ideas, new ideas, test new ideas. And then you offer the mentorship. All right. Moving on. The third objective of this talk, we are right in the middle. How to demonstrate skill. How to demonstrate transformational leadership skill. And the first thing that we need to be able to do is clarify and communicate vision. Paint a clear, compelling picture of the future. What is the future of this organization? Where are we headed to? Use storytelling and visuals to bring the vision to life, and then anchor the vision in shared values and organization goals, so that when you're drawing up your goals and your values, they rotate around your vision, okay? Then, of course, aligning roles and goals. And here we show each team member how to connect, their work connects with the bigger picture, such that even the cleaner of the institution knows how important they are working with us, okay? Going down all the way to make them feel that they're a valued team member. Can you imagine in working in an institution where the trash is piling? Can you imagine the kind of infections that would come up from such an environment? Okay, so we have to involve team members in setting team goals and success metrics. And I said before, when you involve people earlier on, it's easier when there's a transition. And then use SMART goals. And I'm sure all of us know the acronym SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant or realistic, and then time-bound. So we need to have goals that are definitive, not just goals that are in the air, okay? Or we don't know what timelines are we working with? Is it possible? Are we able to drop, come down, drill down to the daily target? If you're looking for a monthly target of immunizations being, 2,000 patients. So what's our daily goal? Where are we going to find these babies who we are going to immunize? So they have to be very specific. How are we going to measure our success? How are we going to achieve them? We have to have a roadmap. Are they really realistic? Are they relevant? And are they time-bound? Is there a timeline that within which you must have done whatever it is that we need to do? Then we use inspirational motivation. Regularly recognize effort and celebrate wins, no matter how small. Our environment is quite challenging, and it is good to recognize effort and celebrate wins. And then share progress update to build momentum and trust. The more your team is on the loop, is on the know of what is happening, the better they are, the better it is, the easier it is. It's like greasing metallic parts, so that it's easier to work with them. They rotate much easier and there's less friction. So it's the same principle. When you share progress updates, you're able to build momentum and trust. And then maintain a positive, purpose-driven tone, even in setbacks, okay? And setbacks will come, okay? But they should not be a place of falling out. Rather, they should be an area of learning from each other and being able to adapt into whatever decision is finally agreed on, okay? So you need to maintain, as a transformative leader, you need to maintain a positive, purpose-driven tone, even in the face of setbacks. Moving on, number 4, empower through participation. Facilitate team input and collaboration. People commit to what they help to create. I cannot overemphasize this point. When people are in the loop, when you're creating things, they feel a part of it and they want to see it succeed. Okay, delegate meaningfully, not just tasks. Okay, so if you know somebody is challenged in the area of tech, and you know another staff enjoys tech, then put the staff who enjoys tech at the computer and have the other one who doesn't, maybe doing the dispensing or something else that he or she finds meaning in, more than putting them in an area where they struggle a lot. But of course, there's also the aspect of them growing into those areas, okay? Because they might find themselves alone in the facility. Are they able to work across the board? But I'm just trying to bring out the fact that it's important for you to delegate meaningfully, okay? Don't just give out tasks. Don't just dish out tasks. Take some time to ponder, the repercussions of the work that you're going to issue out. Encourage innovation and create psychological safety. By creating psychological safety, we need a place to vent. And I know many of us do not even get that opportunity, or many facilities don't have debrief sessions. Okay, so it's important sometimes for us to be encouraged to innovate and also have the psychological safe spaces. So be consistent and visible. As a leader, you need to be visible. You need to walk the talk. You need to model the values of the vision. You need to be present. You need to be approachable and adaptable in leadership moments. So can your staff talk to you? That's the question I'm posing to us, okay? And I'm believing that most of us, if not all, once we take the test, there's a test coming, sorry guys, just to evaluate yourself, okay? See where you stand in your leadership journey. But even as we grow and learn to become transformational leaders, the question is, are you approachable? Okay, are you present, or are you still in the era where the jacket is on the chair and we cannot find you for the next half day? Okay, you need to be present. You need to be available when there are issues to be troubleshoot, or somebody just needs to talk to you. Okay, and be adaptable. Offer feedback that is clear, supportive, and focused on growth. Okay, supportive feedback is so important. All of us are going through very many challenges. So even if it's negative feedback, the way we say it is important, so that the person feels, okay, yeah, I see my point. I see your point. I think I looked at it differently, but at least now we can come on a common ground because of how the feedback was given. So the feedback needs to be growth focused. So our fourth objective, the leadership self-assessment tool. I just want to copy this link onto the chat. Give me a minute, and then I'll ask you, I'll stop sharing my slides. And then I will ask you to just open up that form and just assess yourself. Okay. So that you know where you stand. It was one of the objectives for us to be able to know where we stand in our leadership journey and see how we can help ourselves to become better leaders. So I'm putting it on the chart. Okay, there you go. So you can open up that form and start to assess yourself. So it's a Likert scale assessment, with 1 being strongly disagree and 5 being strongly agree. And then you will tally for yourself. Let me also open the form on my computer. You will tally for yourself and give yourself a score. Okay, for each question, there are 5 sections and 4 questions in each section. So each question, depending on what you mark, you check, has a score. Okay, so the scores are in the brackets, and then you will add up the scores and give yourself a score, and I will put up the grading tool. So I'll do that later so that we can move on with the presentation. So allow me, as you're doing that, please, I hope we can multitask. I don't know how many men are in the meeting. They keep saying men cannot multitask, but I think in healthcare, we are able to do both. So allow me to keep moving on. The form is on the chat. So please do open it up and start to assess yourself, okay? Then we'll have a discussion around it before we finish the presentation. So there's a self-assessment tool. And then I want to move on to our objective 5 as you're doing that. All right, so this is a scoring guide, which we will come to later. So we'll put that at the parking lot as we move on. The 5th objective, the 5 core elements of emotional intelligence in leadership. So we'll start by looking at emotional intelligence, the competencies, and how it is applied in leadership. So these are just 5 that I picked out. Again, we can search out emotional intelligence. It's a whole frontier on its own. And so I'm just giving, as I said, high level summaries and how it affects leadership. So one of the core competencies of core elements in EI is self-awareness, knowing yourself. Are you aware of yourself? And then how we apply it in leadership is we have to understand our emotional triggers and recognize how our mood affects others. What are your emotional triggers? It's really, emotional intelligence is about assessing yourself and knowing, what can make you lose it. And, when you're in healthcare, you really have to control yourself. So understanding your emotional triggers and recognizing how your mood will affect your team, because we are talking about leadership, okay? The next one is self-regulation, that ability to stay calm, okay? Its application in leadership, the ability to stay calm under pressure. And there's a lot of pressure in healthcare, okay? Are we able to calm our nerves, okay? To stay calm under pressure. We end up, sometimes we have emergency situations which are quite something. So are we able to self-regulate? All right. Avoid reactive decisions in tense moments. Okay. So it calls for us to be very level-headed when we are in leadership. Okay. As transformational leaders. Then there's an aspect of motivation. Stay focused on mission over ego. Let me repeat that. Stay focused on mission over ego. It's important, no matter how high the ranks. We'll deal with the matters of ranks on another session, but it's important to always carry the mission first. Because if we put ego first, it could end up with some negative impact, okay, both on your team and on the clientele. Okay, remember that we've just said that when we're giving feedback, we have to give feedback that is supportive, even when we have divergent views, all right? So it's important for us to always carry the mission first, mission-oriented people, leaders, and then role model persistence and optimism, okay? Sorry. Number 4, empathy. Acknowledge team members' feelings, understand concerns behind behavior. So you're not just going to treat your team members like, okay, today they're not acting like themselves, so what? We cannot afford to carry around a so what attitude. We have to be empathetic, okay? So we are able to acknowledge their feelings, acknowledge where they are at, to understand their concerns that are driving the behavior. And then there's social skills, where we need to build rapport, manage conflict constructively, and inspire through positive interactions. All right, so we have to develop, and I alluded to this earlier on in the presentation, our social skills have to be developed so that we are able to build rapport with our clientele, build rapport with the people who are in our team. And that way we are able to troubleshoot when there's a crisis. Maybe you are waiting for a delivery of a certain commodity and it's taking longer than what you had anticipated or what you had been told by the supplier, and the pressure, you can just see the pressure from the client just rising. Okay, and you need to be able to manage your client and manage the conflict constructively, so that you can have them come again and not leave your place feeling shortchanged. I'm hoping that as I'm talking, you're actually evaluating yourself, okay? And you're giving yourself a score. Okay, then Communication was the other aspect. Apart from emotional intelligence, there's also the communication skills. And I'd alluded to this before. You need to be able to close that feedback loop. Once you gather, you categorize, you act, or you follow up, then you come back and tell the person, this is what has happened, okay? Always create a habit in yourself. It's not just good, it's important, because you could leave some things pending, which could either be a life or death situation. So learn to give feedback. Learn to give feedback. The more you practice it, the better you become at it. And sometimes it might feel like it's a trivial issue. Make it a practice. The more you're used to doing that, when it comes to those life or death moments, you will have already, activated yourself to be able to give feedback, to close the communication loop. So there's an aspect of active listening. And here, my good colleagues, we do not actively listen when we are still on the phone. Here is when we are focused completely. We are avoiding interruptions, screen interruptions, and we are mirroring back key points. Like, for example, if we could do a role play, somebody would be telling me the key aspects of what I have talked about in the last 1 hour. Okay, that's active listening. You're focusing completely, you're avoiding interruptions, and you're mirroring back key points. Then there are non-verbal cues. Here you use open posture, eye contact, and tone to convey presence and respect. That's eye contact. It's very, very important that when you're communicating, you're also giving eye contact. Sometimes, our screens that are in between us and the patient could act as barriers to effective communication. And you might need to, have your screen kind of skewed in an angle that, yes, you can see what is on the screen, but still affords you the opportunity to have eye contact with your patient or the person you're talking to, so that they feel that you're present. They feel that, you're listening to them and that you're respecting the fact that they're in front of you. Then, of course, feedback that builds, be specific, balanced, and growth-oriented. And then transparent communication, share timely updates and difficult truths with clarity and care. Difficult truths have to be given, have to be said, okay? But it's the how do we do it that makes it, makes the person either better or makes the person worse. You can have a negative outcome from just how you spoke to somebody. Okay, so it's important to be able to speak the difficult truths with clarity and care. Then the use of empathetic language. Acknowledge emotions before giving direction. Yes, acknowledge that you're going through a rough patch. However, seeing that XYZ is happening, then we need to shift into this new strategy. Acknowledging that it makes people feel heard. It makes people feel that you care for them. And I don't believe there's anyone in this room, in quotes, who wouldn't want to feel heard. Okay, because we just don't want to feel like the picture on the wall. We want to feel heard as human beings. All right, so here's another scenario. A medical team is resisting a new digital patient system. So we are always transitioning patient information systems, and now there's a tussle, there's a struggle, okay? So a transformational leader with emotional intelligence acknowledges frustration, because there will be an aspect of frustration. Can you imagine you've become so conversant with the digital system that you are working with, and then because of a challenge in accounting, you're told, now let's transition to a new system that has better accounting, a better version for accounting. And you're thinking, what does accounting have to do with me? It can be very, very frustrating to learn a new digital system. And that's the truth of the matter. So we need, as transformation leaders, to be empathetic, to feel the pain that they're feeling, and then stay calm despite pushback. And when you're introducing something that your team was not part of deciding, because they can't always be there when you're deciding, there might be an aspect of pushback. Okay. So you need to be able to stay calm despite the pushback. That is the aspect of self-regulation. I'm just giving this example so that you can relate what I've just said with a scenario in our space. Then listen without judgment. Okay. Don't say, oh, it is what it is. Either learn the new system or ship out, ship off. As a transformational leader, we do not use such kind of language. Okay, we listen, we actively listen. We are acknowledging, yes, there's a frustration, but you need to understand that we operate as a system. It's not just the clinical aspect that's important. We also need the accounts to be succinct, to be well done, so that we are not having losses in the areas of what we are supposed to be collecting, because that is what pays for the drugs that we are dispensing. It pays for, all the tools and equipment that we need for this facility to run. So we need to be able to explain, which is the next one, the vision and benefit to patient care. Okay, motivation and clarity. So we are not just actively listening, we're not just being empathetic, we're not self-regulating, but we're also motivating and giving clarity, giving the bigger picture, because sometimes some people don't understand the bigger picture, and you have the bigger picture as the leader. And so it's important for you to be able to transfer that knowledge in piecemeal, that the person below you can understand it. And then offer support and training. Okay, so this is social skills and follow through. Offer support. Offer to get them somebody who can train them if it's not your area of expertise, or train them yourself if you are a tech guru, etc., etc. So finally, the last objective: strategies for leading institutional change. Oh, this is quite a mouthful, but we're going to go through them as we begin to wind up. So the first one, establish a clear and compelling vision. Why is this important? People don't follow plans, they follow purpose. Okay, so create a purpose that your team has the impetus, the oomph, the desire to follow. Okay, so it has to be a clear and compelling vision. All right, then engage stakeholders early. I think I've said this a thousand times. Okay, why it matters is because early buy-in will definitely reduce resistance. They were part of forming the change. Okay, they informed the change that you're making. Okay, but there's also a cohort of people who will inform the change, and when the change is effected, they'll be like, who said? No, I didn't, that kind of. So you have to be able to maneuver through all those complexities. So what I'm talking about is basically the ideal situations. And yes, I acknowledge that there will be deviations from these ideal situations. Number 3, build a culture of innovation. Okay, what's new in the market? Sometimes, like I've just asked you, what's new? Maybe Kenya has a drone that is flying, some things, some blood products to Lokichar or somewhere. I don't know. So why it matters? Innovation thrives in safe, adaptive environments. So if you're going to ask your colleagues or your team to come up with innovative ideas, please, okay, there are some that are basically impossible, but there are some that can be incorporated. Why you can incorporate? But even if you can't, acknowledge that, yes, we have seen your innovation, but at this point in time, maybe we don't have enough funds to fund this innovation, or we feel that another strategy might be better placed for where we are to help us get more traction. Communicate. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. As you're building that culture of innovation, I agree that not everything can be adaptable, but let the other party know where you stand at when it comes to what they suggested. Number 4, communicate consistently and transparently. Why it matters. People fear the unknown more than change itself. Okay, so it's important to keep talking to your team members, both consistently and transparently. Number 5, align systems and structures and why it matters. Innovation fails when structures don't support it. Okay, so align your systems and structures such that it is moving towards the innovative path that you have decided to take. Otherwise, it's going to fall through. Then coach through resistance. What matters? Resistance is data, okay? And data rules the world. So information does rule the world. So when we get that resistance data, we need to, it's basically a signal towards what needs attention, okay? So we need to be able to coach through the resistance, walk with them the journey, or give them somebody to walk them through the journey so that they move from resistance into acceptance. And then monitor progress and adapt, okay? It almost sounds like the plan, do, study, act, and then you repeat the cycle, okay? So it's not enough to have this all these strategies and you're not monitoring the progress and adapting, okay, and making changes where it is needed. Why it matters is because real change is iterative. It's not static. Change is the only thing that is constant. Okay. So I don't know how you are faring on with the assignment. Are we having any figures being dropped on the chat? What percentage people are at in their leadership journey?
Not yet, Agnes. I can't see any percentages that have been shared.
Okay.
So maybe our participants can start sharing so that we run through them as you had indicated.
Okay.
So I hope people are doing their homework as they're listening to you. Can see
I'm hoping
Kevin
so.
saying, yeah, he's done with the assignment, but I'm not seeing any figures that have been sent in the chat. Yeah. Oh, someone is
No.
asking, how do we share? Martha
How
is
do you
asking, how do we share? How does she
share
share
what?
the percentage?
Just put them on the chat. Please put
Yes,
them on
Martha,
the
there you go. Put it on the
yeah.
chat.
Put them on the chat.
Oh, but I think what they mean is once they've done the Google form, it's just submitting as a response, but they're not getting any figure. Yes. So I
Okay.
think that could be what the question is, because I've also done the Google form, but I've not gotten any percentage. Yeah.
Okay, so let me take you through how you calculate it. Just give me a minute. I opened the
Okay.
form.
Okay.
So remember that I said that you have your strongly disagree is number 1, right? Is 1. It's a Likert scale. Okay. So okay, just okay, maybe what we can do, give me a minute. Why don't you, Dr. Kubai, why don't you just read some of the comments on the chat, and then so that I'm able to transition screens and get to the screen that has the Google form.
Okay. I think I can do that. I think I can ask Prof to respond to this question as we are waiting for the presenter. Prof, if you can hear me, Mohammed is asking, how does he get to rewatch the whole presentation later on? That is to basically ask where the presentation will be, where the recording will be shared, the recording of the presentation. So if you can hear me, Prof, please respond to that. Then I can see Frederick asking, are there CPD points? Yes, Frederick, there are CPD points. And I don't know for other cadres, but Prof, you can respond for people who are not are under the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, if they'll be able to get points. Then many people are appreciating Madam Agnes's presentation, with Jane Rotich saying it's a very insightful presentation, and they have responded and submitted the Google form. So, Prof, before Agnes comes back, please respond to those two queries as regards the CPD points for other cadres and how someone can watch the recording of the presentation. Yeah.
Thank you. That is very, very interesting question. And thank you very much also, Agnes, for that insightful, in-depth presentation. I know transformational leadership is a huge topic by itself, but you've really summarized it very well. Colleagues will share the PowerPoint via your email, but the recording will be shared in the WhatsApp group, in the WhatsApp community soon after this session. And also you'll be able to get it on our YouTube channel. So we'll share the link for the YouTube channel very soon. This event has 3 CPD points, and the same will be shared within 1 week period. But kindly do subscribe on the PPB portal for pharmacy, either registered or enrolled professionals. For others who would like to claim your CPD point from other providers, will be able to share a certificate of participation confirming that you have attended, and you can use that one. Yeah. I don't know if Agnes is coming back. Yes, okay. Let me unmute just a minute. You can unmute, Agnes, yeah?
Okay, great. Great. So thank you. So remember that there are 20 questions, okay? If you marked, as I'm sharing my screen, if all your responses were strongly agree, okay, so those will be, this is how the form looks like, right? This is just section C. I've just picked up one section. So there's a total of 20 questions, okay? So I'm giving a hypothetical situation. All your responses were strongly agree. And strongly agree has the number 5. You multiply the 20 by 5, which takes you to 100%. That's how you get your score. Are we clear now? So that if I have 10 number ones that strongly disagree, and another 10 disagrees, so that will be 10 plus 20. That will take me to 30. Then the remaining 30 are number 4s. So 30, okay, sorry. The math, sorry, no, that will have taken to 20 questions. There are 20 questions, and you multiply each of, how do I say it? Are you getting, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great, great. So that I don't try and belabor the point. Okay, so that's how you're going to get your score. So maybe in the next few minutes, as I start to finish the slides, you can calculate for yourself what your percentage score is going to be, and then drop it on the chart. Okay, so that I come back to the slide on what that means for you, because we are doing a self-assessment. So I'll stop sharing this screen and go back to my other presentation so that we finish on that. Okay. All right, great. I hope that you have learned something as much as I did when I was preparing these slides. As I said, there's no end to learning, and it's always a joy to keep challenging yourself into new frontiers. Okay, so does leadership change with situations? And the question is absolutely yes. Leadership depends on the situation and the environment. And so even as our focus tonight is on transformational leadership, sometimes you will be forced into transactional leadership depending on the situation. That's what I am saying. It's not cast in stone that as you develop yourself as a transformational leader, you will always be a transformational leader. Sometimes you're called out to, interplay between the servanthood leadership, the autocratic leadership, across the different kind of leadership styles, depending on the situation and the environment. Okay, so this is the core idea behind situation leadership theory. Different contexts require different leadership examples. For example, in a crisis or emergency, definitely we would pick the autocratic style. You're decisive, you're direct. Okay, this could be the most effective because there's no time to start asking, so many people, or what do you think? But I know in situations, like some situations might present where you still need some kind of transformational leadership to work together with your team. Then in a highly skilled academic team, a laissez-faire or transformational style may empower. I know I didn't speak about the laissez-faire. The laissez-faire leadership style is where you're hands off. This is not what we want to have in the healthcare sector. Okay, because we need to allow others to learn from what we already know, because we get to become better as healthcare workers through practice. Okay, so it might not be a very great leadership skill. That's why I left it out, because this is totally hands off. You allow that person to just learn on their own, have their own mistakes, etc. For new or inexperienced team, a transactional or coach-based approach might offer the needed structure and support. Okay, if you're dealing with inexperienced teams, okay, especially in medical repping, you might choose this over just a transformational leadership. But I said the lines are thin, and there's it doesn't mean that you're cast in stone, that you have to use one leadership style throughout. In change-driven environments like the healthcare reform, transformational leadership is critical to inspire and navigate resistance. Okay, so I want to go back first of all to, are there numbers coming on the chart? I don't want to put up that slide because people refuse to put their numbers.
Yes, Agnes.
Okay.
Yes. There are responses so far in the chat, and not so many for considering we're around 550 of us, but so far I can see around 15 people who've given percentages. But I think many people have submitted their forms without making the calculation. Yeah, there are people who had already submitted the form before making the calculation, the Google form. Yeah, but I can see we are having figures in the chat ranging from 82%. I believe it's the 80%. The lowest one was seen going up to 97%. So far, that's what I can see. It's ranging mostly between 80% to around 97%. Yeah, those are the figures that are coming in. Yeah.
Awesome. Then those are all trailblazers. Let me share my screen. You see where you are at. Just a minute, I share my screen. So basically, for those who are high up, then you need to start mentoring others below you. This slide does not leave you without a responsibility, okay? So leadership self-assessment scoring. So if you're between 80 to 100%, then you're a transformational trailblazer. You're already a strong, inspiring leader. Focus on sharpening specific areas for even greater impact. Between 60 to 79, you're an emerging leader. You show great leadership potential. Strengthening a few key areas will elevate your effectiveness. 40 to 59, you're a developing leader. You're growing in your leadership journey. Consider mentorship, feedback, and training to accelerate growth. And then below 40, you're a leadership learner. This is a great starting point. Reflect, seek feedback, and commit to intentional development. Remember, I said we give feedback that is very supportive and growth oriented. Okay. So below 40, we're not saying, oh, you're a dunderhead. No, no, no. You're a leadership learner. It is a great starting point. You need to reflect and seek feedback and commit to intentional development. That's the other reason why I brought out this score, so that you see how you can also start to learn to give supportive feedback when your team member is not going in the direction you want, or there's something they've done wrong. The way you communication is a skill we cannot teach in 2 hours, but you need to keep reading books, reading material on communication, so that you can listen to podcasts, so that you can become better on how you can support in communication. Great. So I want to move on to my final slides. As a summary, so a transformational leader is the one who promotes an ethical work environment with priorities, clear values, and standards, then uplifts the motivation and positive development of followers, grips the stress on cooperation, authenticity, and open communication, builds company culture by inspiring employees, epitomize moral standards within the organization, and permits employees to make decisions and take ownership of tasks. And so it's a whole continuum, okay, that we can have. So I want to finish my slides, then we'll go into the question and answers. So these are some of the references that I used, and that's my book. My contact is on the screen, Fearless Leadership. And I hope that we will be able to even impact you greater. And you can always reach me on the number that is on the screen. Thank you very much. I want to hand over back to Dr. Kubai to just do any questions if there are. Thank you, Prof. It's been a great pleasure. As always, asante.
Well, what an enlightening and interesting session. Thank you so much, Agnes. I can see people are still, the participants are still doing your assignments. I wish you hadn't unmuted yourself. I think you can just stay unmuted. Although I don't see any questions that have come in so far, but I can see we have really scored ourselves highly as transformational leaders. I really don't know if the figures that we are seeing in the chat box would apply if someone else or the people that you lead are the one who are scoring you. So Agnes, so far there's no questions that have come across. Please, if there's one which I could have missed, although I've been very keen not to miss any, please type it again in the chat. It could have scrolled upwards, but so far I haven't seen any question. I see Peter Ngodo, who is being very honest with his appraisal of his leadership, saying he's at 63%. Agnes, many of the participants are appreciating your presentation and saying that it's excellent. It is an amazing session, very informative. Mostly we have comments of appreciation, and Winfred is saying that they have enjoyed the webinar. So I don't see any question that has been raised so far. However, maybe I can just ask, other than through the phone number, is there a bookstore that stocks your book that you've authored, where we can get it, or we will have to get in touch with you directly, or is it stocked anywhere in any bookshop or any bookstore where we can purchase it directly? I think I can ask that on behalf of everyone. But otherwise, Agnes, we just have comments of appreciation. and many people interested in getting hold of your presentation and slides, of which we've been informed where we can get them. So please, Agnes, you can tell us where to find your book. If any question comes in as you speak, I'm going to pass it to you. But as at now, I don't see any question that has been put across. Yes.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. I'm looking at some of the comments. I think some need to be banned.
I agree.
Dr. Ermias, Prof, you save me. Anyway, it's been a great pleasure. Currently, I don't have a bookstore that has my books. You can always pick. They're always available at my at 40 Suites on ground floor at the pharmacy. But you can also reach me directly. Please WhatsApp. I can't take all these 500 calls. I'll put my number on the screen, but please WhatsApp. Asante sana. We are healthcare workers, eh? So please WhatsApp. Other than that, I just want to take the opportunity to thank Prof for having me here. Thank you, Dr. Kubai. You've been an amazing moderator. Asante back to you from me. I don't have anything else to say. Yeah.
Just one last thing before you go, Agnes. Kindly, I can see Elizabeth Irongo. I'm also asking how much is the book. And please don't be flustered by the by the other comments. We are here to protect you. So Agnes, please tell Elizabeth how much the book is, so that if they are coming to pick it up, they know how much to have in their pockets. And I think after you answer that, we can hand the session back to Prof. But thank you for appreciating my moderation. It's been a pleasure. You've been an amazing presenter and very engaging. And I hope many of us didn't log in and just leave our devices for you to speak, but we've actually followed the presentation because it was quite insightful. So Agnes, I'll kindly ask you to respond to the question of how much the book is, and we can let you go. Yes. Wait for Prof to unmute you before you respond. You're still muted.
You can unmute.
Thanks, Prof. It retails for 1,000 only.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said, by the way, I also do a coaching on fearless leadership. So if you're interested, that goes for 3,000. It's a 3-day intensive coaching that you look intrinsically at yourself and where you're stuck, and we help you get unstuck. For the book, it retails for 1,000. As I said, you can find it at Twinkle Pharmacy, which is at Fortis on ground floor. You can also WhatsApp me directly. Let me know you need the book, and we can see how to go around the logistics. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Agnes. I think that should be it. And thank you for enlightening us and for taking your time to prepare a wonderful presentation. We definitely hope to hear from you, and we even hope that you're going to get a few of the participants approaching you for personal coaching and even getting to purchase your book. Thank you so much. I've been your moderator, Dr. Kubai, and now I'm going to hand the session back to Prof so that he can give us a few closing remarks. But before I do that, I saw a few people asking about the presence of the event on the PPB portal. Yes, it's already up. The keyword you can use to search for the event is transformational. If you search for the word transformational on the PPB portal, the CPD dashboard, you should be able to get the event for you to be able to subscribe to. Other than that, it's been a pleasure, and the slides and recording will be shared on the WhatsApp channel and on the YouTube channel as well for AGLS, as Prof had indicated. So other than that, I wish to hand over the session back to Prof, and thank you very much for being active participants and also for responding to the assignments that our presenter gave you. Thank you very much.
Wow, an amazing session. Thank you. Thank you very much, Agnes. Everyone has said it, and it was really an amazing session, very educational. I believe you'll also spend some time in the future to join us on another related topic for sure. I also feel the same as the majority. Usually, we focus on the clinical part, but I think we have left leadership and such topics out. So we'll continue. And also, thank you, Dr. Kubai, for the wonderful moderation. I'll take the next few minutes before we close this session to give an overview, as I mentioned initially, on the things we do and what you'll be able to access on our website and through our educational platforms. I'll do that in a very short minutes, maybe like 3 minutes. Okay. Earlier at the beginning, I have mentioned what Axubia is, and this is a consultancy firm, basically established by a group of academicians, scientists, and different clinicians from here and also abroad. And basically, we focus on different aspects. Soon, we'll be launching our academic mentorship program for aspiring postgraduate students and also pharmacy and also health science students. And we also do heavily a number of consultancy advisory service, research and grant, and heavily now we are also working on professional development. As we do that, especially our professional developments, one thing I need to really put it here, we are so keen on health professionals' development, on the knowledge, the skill, and their attitude, especially in delivering health skills. We are not linked to any pharmaceutical company, so we are not interested in pushing any pharma product. That we need to make that clear, but we are so keen in your knowledge. Allow me to share with you some of the trainings which we have, which are currently going on as you try to plan to engage in any one of them. One of the brand training which we have, even it is one of the kind in the region, is a global regulatory affairs training, which is a 10 weeks online training followed by, not really followed, we have started this training like a month ago. From next week, the participants will go to a hands-on attachment. So this training will have a 20 days of attachment, 10 days split in two different pharma and regulatory companies for hands-on training. So this is a new version which we have brought in, professional development beyond the webinar. So we are really following, we are monitoring it, and we believe participants will be able to make a big difference. We are also working hard to make sure all our trainings are also recognized by different international bodies. As you see our website, you can see programs who are already accredited by FIP, and also other accreditations are on progress. The health supply chain management training is also one of our pioneer program. Since last year, now we have managed to complete the third cohort, and it's really an amazing training. It goes for 10 weeks. The clinical training, which we have with the diabetes and hypertension management training, I know most of you have managed to attend, and this is still it's going on, but it's one of an excellent training, which I should say. Recently, we started pain management, and I'm so glad. Most of the sessions I was facilitating it, and it was really interesting to see the role of health professionals, pharmacy professionals in pain management. We'll communicate when we'll be launching the next cohort. Another important and very interesting training, which we completed this week on Monday, was the vaccinology training program. This is among the trainings which was recognized by FIP. This was a 5 days online training followed by 1 full day practical hands-on training, where a group of pharmacists and pharmaceutical technologists joined this training, and we were in Ruiru Hospital on Monday for heavy hands-on training where they were practicing on immunization. So soon we'll be doing the evaluation. Usually our trainings are heavily structured. They start with a pre-test And after the training also, we do a good assessment, and we do provide certificates of course completion on top of the CPD points. The new training on board for most pharmacy professionals, especially those practicing in community pharmacy, which we are announcing today, is the MTM training. I believe you have heard one way or another about MTM, MTM, and MTM. So now this is a time where you need to plan to be trained and to start to offer MTM training. I will not talk much, but as we engage in different webinars, we'll talk in depth. But if you go to our website, you'll be able to see the details of each of these 18 modules, which are very standard, heavily structured practical trainings, which will be facilitated by experts in each of the areas. I mentioned at the beginning of this session, all our facilitators are keenly picked. You have seen today's facilitators, our moderator Kubai, which is an consultant pharmacist in health supply chain management. So all of them, we can say, were the experts in the respective area. And this is one of the training which we are so proud. We are waiting FIP's accreditation, but get ready, somewhere mid-June, we are starting this training. The other one we are starting in 19th of May. That is also a new training program that is oncology and radiopharmaceuticals. As you know, cancer care and treatment is very important, and it's heavily medication based, okay? So this blends well with whatever we are doing with pain management, with the supply chain management, vaccinology. Those all trainings come to speak one important thing, that is the treatment outcome, the patient-centered care. So we really look forward to deliver this training in a high precision and in a high quality, so that trained peoples can have the better knowledge to provide quality, comprehensive cancer care and treatment. The other one, which we have not yet announced, also you can see on the website, we have upcoming trainings on community pharmacy practice. And the last one, end of May, is the second cohort of veterinary pharmacy. Last year, we have done one very interesting cohort of like 40 pharmacy professionals. And not only pharmacy, even veterinary professionals who attended to do the veterinary pharmacy program, which was a learning moment, and it was very interesting. So when you see the call out, plan to join and attend. So we have many uniqueness in as AGLS. Basically, we really focus on heavy on quality delivery of training. As I mentioned, it's not a webinar, they are training series, starting by assessing the basic knowledge and skill of participants, helping them to attain the knowledge and skill during the training period. And at the end of the day, we do post-tests, and we are only keen for the learning, not for any product or not for marketing of pharmaceutical products. So that is a small and brief overview of what we are doing as AGLS. We are so grateful for your attendance. We'll share the recording of this session in the WhatsApp group. And if there is any question, I'll be happy to respond. And the CPD tokens for this event will be shared immediately within a week or less. What matters is you making sure you subscribe to the event as soon as possible. Once we confirm a good number of people subscribing, then we will be able to share even before Friday. Yeah. Maybe I'll wait a few minutes to respond to any question. Thank you, Dr. Carol, for sharing the WhatsApp link to Peter. The name of the website is www.akgls.org. Maybe for those who joined late, allow me to share the website so briefly so you can have a quick look at it and how we support professional development. That will be a very good question. So this is our website, and I'll take you through back again. This is how akgls.org. You can see what the things we do. Let me put my video off so that it will be very visible. These are the areas of our service. You can look at it. I only talked on the training part. The other ones, as we move on, we'll talk, especially the academic mentorship program. We'll be launching it very soon. So we'll be working on preparing students for local and international licensure exams. That is some of the things we are planning on under the mentorship. You can see the courses under our website, the different courses. And especially as you look at these courses, what you can do is you can go through each of them. Maybe you can click this one and you can see the content. What is it to be covered? And maybe since I've been practicing for more like now near to 20 years in academia, I strongly believe in delivering whatever we promised. And as part of a team in AGLS, that is what we do. So sometimes when new things come, we do add modules on top of what we mentioned. So one of the new things in supply chain management is technology and artificial intelligence integration. So that is one of the new modules we added to this training on the ongoing cohort. And now Dr. Kubai will be taking us through that one for the current cohort as we move on. So we really look for upcoming advancements as we move on the training, and we'll tailor make our training. So as you interact with this website, just click each one of them and you can be able to see the detail. Not only that, you can also see how we are so meticulous and keen on who trains our training. So when you look at the trainer's profile and everything, you can be able to tell what goes to the cost of our training. So, but we are really working hard to look for grants so that we will have more trainings at a very lower cost or free of charge. That is what we are currently working on. On top of that, our all trainings are supported by a learning platform. Here you can see an LMS. So participants who joined or were enrolled in our training will have an access to this learning platform where they will get access to the PowerPoints, the video recordings. For example, this is one of the vaccinology training which we have. So participants will have access to the pre-test. That's what I mentioned, the modules, the recordings, reference books, articles, and any things that support their training. So this can tell you that our trainings are heavily and very well organized. This is a global regulatory affairs training. You can see the list of material students will be provided, the weekly discussion forums where students and facilitators engage. Since the training also, since it has a practical component, we also have a logbook where participants will feel whatever they did during or whatever they performed on daily basis during the attachment period. So I think that will explain or provide an adequate answer to that question, and also that really explains what we are doing. Thank you. Yes, I can see Damaris, Dr. Mungoma, many people, including Prof. Bukachi. You can name the best practitioners are among our facilitators. Yes. Thank you. Any other question? I'm still reading and going through the chat. Mental health training, that is, we are working on it. I have not presented. We have already the curriculum. We are in discussion with a number of consultant psychiatrists and also psychologists when the time reaches, will communicate that training. Yeah. And the floor is also open. If you feel that you are an expert on one of the areas, and if you plan to join AGLS team as a form of a facilitator, moderator, you can always drop your CV to our email. We can look at it and we'll get back to you. And also recently we have announced what we call the AGLS Ambassadors Council. Kindly look that one and you can apply. There will be a vetting process. We believe we would like to get ambassadors from the different sectors, from hospital, pharmacy, academia, from the different professional societies. So once you are part of the Ambassadors Council, for sure, you'll get a significant discount or free access to most of our trainings. So kindly look for that poster, that link. I believe most of you are in the WhatsApp group, you can access that one. So usually our training is in the evening, Monday to Friday. It starts at 6:30 to 8:30. We keep time. And sometimes also we have trainings on Saturday from 9 to 11. So with that, we are coming to the end of this session. Join me in appreciating Dr. Kubai and also Agnes, who really made a great work and amazing facilitation. Dr. Kubai, I didn't know that you are an excellent moderator, but you have confirmed that, and I'm so proud of that. Agnes, thank you for that insightful presentation, and I believe you will join us soon in another related training. Yeah. Thank you, colleagues. I wish you all a blessed night, and thank you. God bless you for joining us. We'll have another session, most likely at least bi-weekly, and we'll communicate, and kindly join as we continue learning from one another. Thank you very much. I'll leave this session open for a few minutes. If there is any question, we can answer in the chat. Thank you.